Welcome, FNusa57 here. Once again, I'm back on my Xbox Series X. Today I'm bringing you a guide for Elden Ring, and in this video I want to show you how to get what is possibly the best, if not one of the top 3 current magic scaling melee weapons. So we will be getting the Moonveil Katana. Now, if you are going to be playing a mage like I am, this weapon you can actually obtain fairly early on in the game, and it does have relatively low requirements to actually wield it. So I'll show you the sword after we get it, but I'm going to show you exactly where we need to go for it. Now, Elden Ring is one of those games that has no shortages of weapons, and it definitely has a plethora of weapons that do split magic and physical damage. So that's a number for you to choose from, but I would definitely put the Moonveil Katana in pretty much the maybe top 1 or 2 as far as my choice. And it's honestly a toss-up between the Moonveil Katana and the version of the Moonlight Greatsword that's in this game, in my opinion. So, without further ado, what you need to do to get this weapon is you need to head to the northeasternmost section of Limegrave. It is going to be a little bit south of the Smoldering Church. I'll zoom out on the map so you can see it. An easy marker that most players should have is the third church. You'll probably have this one from picking up your flask. And you'll need to go northeast. You have 2 entry points, and there are 2 sites of grace in here. This is the, I don't know how to pronounce it, but the Gael tunnel. Anyways, this entrance is right on the border, and there are 2 sites of grace. The main tunnel, which is where we are going. You'll notice that this path is here, marked by 2 knights, right on the border of the other zone. You can go through this pretty easily. It's not too terribly bad. If you are going through as a mage or a low or under-leveled character, then I would highly recommend that you bring a friend for the final boss. The final boss that is in this area that you will have to fight is pretty crazy, so just keep that in mind depending on how your stats are. If you have not unlocked this dungeon, then I will go ahead and show you exactly how to do that. It's pretty easy, but you can follow these markers down. And as long as you hit a couple of those jumps, you should be fine. You'll have a site of grace right here that you can unlock, which is the tunnel entrance. And then you can sprint past most of these enemies if you're just going for the boss. Of course, there are items in here that you can loot. And this is a summonable area, so I would recommend bringing a friend. It is possible to kill the boss solo, but you have to fight something that's pretty darn difficult. This area is also special as it is part of the Pot quest line. There will be a wooden door here that you have to open, and that is the boss room. But before you do that, I would recommend that you grab this site of grace. This site of grace is the closest one, just in case you die, and then this is the rear entrance to the cave, or to the Gael tunnel, however you want to pronounce it. It is possible to go around the outside of the map via the path to my left, and it is possible to jump up via a double jump on the air current there. So you can come both ways into this tunnel and unlock the door. There's a wooden door that you have to unlock for Mr. Pot, the Pot NPC. It's actually the one door that you'll find opened right here. So if you haven't done that, you do have to go from both sides to have the site of grace. And then when you are ready to fight, this is a lava or magma wyvern, I believe, that is in here. So if you keep your distance, he is definitely killable, But one of the things, if you have it, that you might want to use is the Flame Drake Talisman, simply due to the fact that it boosts fire damage negation. And that all depends on the armor set that you're using. But if you are lower level, I would suggest bringing a friend. So this time I summoned my friend Flash. Shout out to him for his help. Truly, truly appreciate that. And of course I had an invader. So if you are used to dealing with a large enemy in a relatively small area, then this guy isn't too bad. Like I said, you can fight him at range, and it's not the worst thing if you fight him at range, but you do have to deal with his little magma charge attack. If you bring a friend, especially a high damage friend, then, well, he's nothing more than a little bit of an overgrown lizard. Upon his defeat, you will receive one very nice, shiny Moonveil Katana, which is really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that weapon along with its moveset and see what you guys think of it. Now remember, this weapon is of course not upgraded. It does have at the start an E scaling in strength, D scaling in dex, and C scaling in intelligence. So it does a little less physical damage than some of the other weapons like the crystal sword that I've been using, but it has a few different things that are of a extreme bonus. One is the fact that it has much higher magic damage and really good magic scaling. The other thing is it has a passive effect that causes blood loss buildup, and on top of that, it also has a really nice, relatively high damage ability, left trigger ability. So it has a good move set as well. It has a fairly long range to it and doesn't cost too much stamina to attack with. So it has a single target attack, multiple target attacks, which is really nice. It can be a dual wielded weapon, which is awesome as well. Just to give you an idea of the move set on it, you cannot put, since it is split damage, you cannot put like magic weapon or grease on this, but that's all right. And then of course you can upgrade it, and if you do fully upgrade it, it becomes a much, much stronger weapon with much better scaling. In my opinion, it's one of like my top 2 favorite weapons for my sorcery build. Its left trigger skill ability is also really nice in the fact that it has the player sheath the katana, and then at the cost of magic points, faith points, whatever you want to call it, I just call it mana. At the cost of the mana, it actually has a considerable damage output. But it does cost mana points, so if you're using those mana points for your spells, you should be careful when it comes to how often you use this strike. But it does a considerable amount of damage, and of course with the magic scaling allows you to do a lot of damage against enemies that are maybe a little bit more resistant to physical, but aren't resistant to the magic damage. I hope you enjoyed this video. Help me out by smashing that like button and subscribing for more content. Until next time, stay frosty.